Welcome into Financial Focus with the best of the best in financial services, as named by the readers of the Lake City Reporter, 9 straight years and running. The team from GulfCoast Financial Services, founder and CEO John Kuykendall, here with us as always, providing the guidance and insight on what you need to be doing with your money, your investments for your financial and retirement future. John, more than 31 years as a financial planner, advisor, retirement planner, helping people formulate the plans and work the plans to achieve their goals. We always appreciate seeing you, and welcome into a brand new year.
Well, thank you, Peter. It's great to be here, start out a new year. I've seen a lot of changes over the course of my career and how we present problems, how the technology we have has been a tremendous impact on our holistic planning that we try to do here at GulfCoast. But, it's the start of a new year. People have made resolutions. People have made plans for new things. And one of the things that we can't do, we get this fresh start, we have to plan for our retirement, Peter.
Yeah, absolutely. And you stressed the importance and emphasize that having that plan in place is so important in making forward progress. There's a common saying that I hear a lot of times, like after resolutions have failed or made by maybe the less than motivated or content with the status quo, that it is what it is. And I've always sort of taken issue with that phrase. It gives us a sense that things cannot be changed, cannot be improved. And maybe financially we are where we are. But John, planning is about looking forward and trying to improve our progress and our path and eventually our outcome. And that is done through the planning process. And maybe, one day, December 31st, and then the next day, January 1st, or in this case, the next week isn't a world of difference, but it is a fresh start. It's kind of a chance to hit that reset button and reprioritize and emphasize the importance, as you have repeatedly remind us, of getting that plan in place.
Well, a resolution usually is something like, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to quit eating sweets. I'm going to do whatever. And it's a habit. It's the things that we get used to doing. And if we stay at it, it becomes a habit and we will continue it throughout our lifetime. But planning is something that we have to start. It can't be a habit. We can't do the habit without the plan.
Yeah. Because
we don't know how much we need or how we're going to do it in order to get to that end retirement plan. We've said over and over again on this show, Peter, that I can't get to my destination without a roadmap. And the financial focused income plan is the GPS that's going to guide you through that process.
Well, John, if I have made it a resolution or a priority in my mind to begin that process, to start that journey, to get a plan put together, certainly I'm going to want to know the psychology, the philosophy, and the approach of the advisor, the financial professional that I am enlisting to assist in formulating the plan. So if you would, as we are sort of giving a fresh start, would you give us a fresh start and an overview of the philosophies, the approach, and the process there at GulfCoast Financial Services?
Well, what we try to do, Peter, is take a look at the entire individual, what their goals are, what their plans are. What are we planning on doing in retirement? Are there a certain amount of money that we need to set aside for travel? Are we going to buy a motorhome? Are we going to buy a boat? What are we going to do? And so we try to look at all the things, the dreams that we have, and then from a holistic approach, looking at Social Security, Medicare, taxes, investments is just a small part of it. So many people believe that the plan is made up strictly of the assets, but it's not. It's made up of how we're going to generate the income ourselves during retirement, because we're replacing our employer's paycheck. And the only way that we can do that is to have a systematic plan, knowing that if I spend this much, I need to do this in order to get there. With longevity, Peter, That's one of the problems we have. We're living longer. Our money has to last longer, and inflation and all the things that we talk about on this show eroding that process. We plan for all of that in that plan. It's a simple plan. It's one that you'll be able to read in a brief period of time. It's got graphs, and we don't try to generate a book. What we want to do is create a living, breathing document that we can change as our needs change and as we get closer to retirement, as we change, so that that can continue to guide us. We can't set up a plan when we're 50 and expect that's going to be the plan when I'm 65. Because as you know, taxes change, government rules change, everything changed. I was just telling Brent, my mortgage went up on my house $500 a month, not because of the interest, which a lot of people felt like that's what it was. It was because of taxes and insurance. Mm-hmm. So we have to plan for those things as we move forward.
Yeah. It strikes me, it's like an obstacle course, right? There is a finish line out there that we want to get to, but there's going to be a lot of things in the way before we get there. And we've got to formulate the plan for how to get over them and get through them, and then maybe make adjustments along the way. And I know through that planning process, you talk a lot about what the goals are to get to that finish line, whatever we have set that to be, whatever the goal and destination is, but also focus a lot on here are the obstacles in the way, and here's how you address and overcome them.
Oh yeah, I mean we have to, Peter. I've as I've said many times, retirement is not for wimps. It's for people who we have to. There are a lot of hoops. Being retired is more difficult sometimes than working.
Not only have you said that, you wrote the book. Retirement is not for wimps. Quitting is for winners, though.
That's right. Quitting is for winners. Those are the people that have planned. They know where the finish line is, and they're going forward. But, there are many obstacles that we have to face in retirement. Social Security, the right time to time our Social Security. What are the penalties if I do it now? There are a lot of people say, well, I'm going to take mine at 62. Well, they forget there's a 27% haircut if I take it. Plus, also, I can't work over a certain amount of hours, or I'm going to be penalized on how much on my Social Security. So there's just so many caveats to retirement. We have to have a financially focused income plan that's going to generate the income, the predictable, sustainable income. I'm more concerned about my income than I am my assets in retirement. And how am I going to arrange my assets so that I know that I've got that income for life, so that I can live the kind of retirement that I want to live.
So certainly as you are designing that financially focused written retirement income plan, you are looking at income, but everything that could affect it: longevity, mm-hmm. sequence of returns risk, addressing market volatility. Do you also look at our tools to get there and build toward it, like employer-sponsored plans and 401ks, and how to best take advantage of those?
Oh yeah, we want to do that. We want to maximize. With a 401k, we always want to put in enough to get our match. And so many people leave that free money on the table. We have to maximize the amount of money that we're putting in there so that we can develop it. Roth 401ks are an answer. A lot of people, a lot of companies now have Roths in their 401s. We want to build up that tax-free income for our retirement benefit. We look at all that. Sequence of return. Very few people understand sequence of return. But if I built my retirement plan on assets alone, I'm gonna crash my plan because the market is so volatile. As we live longer and as we have this technology boom that we have, instant gratification, instant news, the market has become very volatile. And so we don't want to be pulling money out when the market's down, because it just compounds the effect on our retirement income, our retirement assets, and we won't have enough to live. And how much are we going to withdraw, Peter? There's been a lot of controversy about whether, I can withdraw 8% or can I withdraw 6%. The Wall Street Journal says 2%. So if I got $1 million, I get $20,000 a year to live on.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, we've got to have another way, because the one thing we found, it's not going to be cheaper to retire in retirement, and it's going to take just as much money in retirement to live as it did when you were working full time.
Yeah. And it's in the future. So things tend to be more expensive than they are today. So John, if we have decided to plan or to review the status of our current plan, you have a process that would begin with a call and then a meeting and a get together and a review and strategy session. To describe that process, and as well the time that it takes and maybe the cost of what that process would be to an individual.
Well, what we've done is we have a real short intake form that we like the client to fill out, or prospect, so that we can look at what they have, where their assets are, can sit down and talk with them. As I said, find out what their needs are, what their dreams are, and where their plan, what they really want to do in retirement. Everyone's different. Everybody's retirement plan is different. So we're going to sit down and do that, meet with them one time, and then we will tweak the plan, come back and explain to them where we are, where they're headed, how much it's going to take in additional savings, or if we're already there, how we're going to allocate, how we can allocate the assets so that we can create that income that we're talking about. And the cost of that, Peter, is really free as long as you'll give us the information. We'll be happy to prepare that form for you. We'll look at your taxes. We'll look at your Social Security, give you a Social Security timing report that shows the different retiring at 70 or taking Social Security at 70, taking it at full retirement age, or taking it early if you're retiring early. So there's a lot that goes into this plan. We have tremendous software and availability with our programs now that we can create this. And it really doesn't cost us a lot of money. We've already invested in the infrastructure.
Yep. But if we decide that we do want to have those conversations, obviously there's the time for those conversations, getting to know you, getting to know the client or the investor, the conversation about their goals, and the cost for those conversations, and then putting the initial planning proposal outline together. You offer that with no cost. And then if you and that client or potential client agree that you want to work together to implement it, that's where there might be a conversation about ongoing costs associated with the investments or the allocation or the tools or the job that you do there at GulfCoast Financial Services, correct?
Right. The cost and fees. We're a registered investment advisor, and we always have to put the client's interest first, which we do. And so we're fully transparent. We don't mind telling anybody how we get paid. And we'll tell you that up front. Not everybody's for us, and we're not for everybody. But we have a family-oriented firm here that we think we have great people that do a great job, and we really want to work with people that have the same goals and the same like-mindedness that we do.
And through that planning process, John, are you often able to identify some rather common problems that tend to plague people's minds with worry that have some relatively simple solutions?
Oh yeah, Peter. I mean, it's a matter of looking at debt. Do I have credit card debt, or how am I going to get rid of that credit card debt? We don't want our clients to have any debt that's not deductible off their income tax. They're going to have a mortgage debt because mortgages now are a huge amount of investment, but we don't want them to have any kind of consumer debt that they don't have to have, and we want to get that paid off. So we're not going to sacrifice that in the short run. We'd rather focus on that and then work on the long run investments. So yeah, there are a lot of simple things that we can do. A lot of times people have questions about Social Security. They don't understand it. Medicare, a lot of people think Medicare is free. Medicare is not free. We're going to have to pay for it. And it changes. We're going to have a complete new set of tax laws in December of 2025, where the tax code changes. And so between now and then, there's going to be a lot of changes, a lot of things happening, a lot of legislation prepared. I've already seen where they're talking about indexing Social Security for income. So the more you make, the less you get in Social Security. Those things are going to happen, and we have to be prepared because they're going to impact us. Just because we're retired and drawing Social Security doesn't mean we can't be impacted.
Well, you may have hit on a couple items there that would come to your mind, but John, I know that predicting every detail of the year or years ahead is impossible. However, do you think that there are any big stories or major themes that will sort of dictate the direction or influence the financial direction into 2024, the year ahead?
Yeah, Peter, I think there are several that are great that are going to impact us tremendously. One is the election. The market's always nervous when we're having an election because it doesn't know what the policies are going to be, and the market hates uncertainty. And so we have to look at that and see how that's going to affect the returns. Second thing is that the Fed has already said that they will lower rates this year at least 2 or 3 times. So we're looking at lower rates, less money on savings, less money on bonds and those kind of returns. So we have to play that into our plans and into our thinking. Those are just a couple of the things that I think are going to be major impacts. In addition to taxes, I mean, I'm still saying that because of the quickness of the tax change in 2025 and the fact that the government needs more money because of the rising interest rates has created more debt for us because of the debt we already have. You got to understand we're paying more on our debt, so we're creating more debt. So there's going to be several changes that I think that are going to affect us in 2024 that we have to be ready for.
Well, I suppose retiring at any time is a bit of a leap of faith, especially if you don't have a plan. And we do encourage you, ladies and gentlemen, to formulate a plan. But do those factors that you just mentioned, John, make potentially retiring in 2024 a little bit more tenuous and nerve-wracking?
Well, I think, Peter, if you don't have the plan, it makes it almost impossible because you're not going to be able you're not going to know what's going to happen and how it's going to affect your income. Like I said, we are replacing our employer in retirement. We are working for ourselves as such because of the assets we built up and how now we have leveraged them and allocated them so that we can get that predictable income. So, yes, I think it's going to be more difficult, not impossible, but someone with a plan, someone who's aware of what's going to happen, somebody who's not relying totally on asset allocation for retirement is going to be fine. It's just a matter of us bobbing and weaving, as a boxer used to say, to make sure that we can, we don't get punched in the face and knocked out.
Yep. Well, more and more, our financial future, well-being, stability, and confidence is on our own shoulders. So we need to do as much as possible, and good enough really isn't. So rather than being satisfied with it is what it is, well, we can determine that we are where we are, but let's formulate that plan to get where we want to be into the future. Maybe it's spending a little less, maybe it's saving and investing a little bit more, maybe it's really reviewing and evaluating the risk exposure that we have in the investments and the accounts that we hold. Are they optimized to help us achieve those goals? How can we make the most of Social Security? How can we pay the least in taxes? These are all factors that are included as John Kuykendall and the team at GulfCoast Financial Services helps you through formulating the financially focused written retirement income plan. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to take advantage, pick up the phone, give a call, 386-755-9018, 386-755-9018, or you can visit online and get in touch through the website, GulfCoastFinancial.net, GulfCoastFinancial.net, always available 24/7 there, GulfCoastFinancial.net. And you can also call and request a copy of John's new book, Quitting is for Winners, but Retirement is Not for Wimps. So if you'd like to get that in your hands, fantastic book, outlining some of the challenges that we face now and into the future in our planning, and what strategies are available that can help us to overcome some of those obstacles. So if you would like to get a copy of that book, again, the phone number 386-755-9018 or the website, GulfCoastFinancial.net. .net. It is a .net, GulfCoastFinancial.net. And John, we always appreciate your time and insight. And here's to a prosperous year ahead. We wish the best for you and your team there at Gulf Coast Financial Services. And thank you for all that you do.
Well, you too, Peter. I hope you have a great new year, a great 2024, and we'll see how it plays out, but I'm looking forward to it. Thanks so much for having me. Hey, if you'd like a copy of our new book, Quitting is for Winners, but Retirement's Not for Wimps, I encourage you to click the link below and get your copy today. Hey, we like it when you listen to the show, but we like it better when you like, share, subscribe, or feel free to leave a comment.
Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and tune in for more financial focus by visiting GulfCoastFinancial.net. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for a particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature and not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs. Early withdrawals may subject the owner to penalties, fees, or taxes. John Kuykendall is registered with and securities are offered through Kovac Securities, Inc., member FINRA SIPC, found online at www.kovacsecurities.com. Advisory services are offered through Gulf Coast Financial Services, Inc., a registered investment advisor in Florida. Gulf Coast Financial Services, Inc. is not affiliated with Kovac Securities, Inc. or Kovac Advisors, Inc. Past performance is not indicative of future results. All investing involves risk. Investment decisions should be based on your own goals, time horizon, and tolerance for risk. Due to various factors, including changing market conditions and/or applicable laws, the content may no longer be reflective of current opinions or positions.